Those of you who got an invite, welcome to Nerd Prom.
No matter where in the world you are, we're all Nerds International. With the hyphen.
Alright, YouTube, it's Mr. Mean coming at you from very sunny Beaumont. It's been a beautiful day. Weather's gotten back to a little normal. Cooler temperatures are prevailing. I think it got up in the low 80s today, so it's quite nice outside. Another video du jour from the role-playing vault of Mr. Mean. This one's a cool one. I never got to play it nearly as much as I wanted to, but I'm glad I do own it. It was originally released in a softback or a paperback, and then they re-released it as a hardback. And I saw it in a used game store, I think in Arizona, called Bookman's, and I picked it up. In fact, I can tell you, yep, I bought it at Bookman's. In Arizona. I bought it for $8 on the 6th of August. They write in there in pencil what they sell the game for. It was originally, I don't know what the original price was, but it's Tribe 8 by DreamPod 9. Still supported. I just went to their website and looked. They have some errata up. They have some really cool character sheets up. This was its own proprietary game system. And I don't know if the hardback came out after Silcore or the Silhouette system or the Core system. DreamPod 9 released its proprietary game system called Core. And they had a short-lived, and I think it's still supported, but I don't think they're producing anything for it, called the Core system. And it was a sci-fi system called Silcore or Silhouette Core. But they called it the Core system, C-O-R-E, and it was a sci-fi game, and it used the same mechanics, but they clarified them. So I don't know if this is equal to the Core system rules or if this was before, because there's no date printed inside of here. But this is a very cool system. Again, this is Tribe 8 by DreamPod 9. DreamPod 9 makes Heavy Gear and Heavy Gear Arena, which are a really cool game. It started out as a role-playing game, and then it got converted into a miniatures game. And it's had 2 or 3 iterations of the miniatures game. The miniatures were never that great. They were cool. But the technology wasn't there to do exactly what they wanted. They wanted these really high-tech little mechs that 1 or 2 people sat inside of and powered, and it was a great concept for a role-playing game. And it's actually how I met my best friend, Brian Isakoff. I had posted at the local gaming store in California about, wanting to play this game called Heavy Gear. And, if you were interested, get in touch with me. And Brian took down my phone number and called me, and we started talking. To this date, 20-something years later, actually close to 30 years later, we've never played Heavy Gear. We have played Tribe 8 together, but we've never played Heavy Gear. We even had a bunch of the miniatures between the two of us. We were going to play the miniatures game. I don't think we ever played the miniatures game. So a little bit of Mr. Mean's history there. This game uses a unique mechanic. It's a D6 system, and you'll have a rating, and that's how many dice you'll roll. But instead of adding all the dice together, you only take the highest die. So a 6 is good, a 1 is bad. For every extra 6 you roll, you add +1 to the total. So if you get 3 6s, that's a total of 8. A 6 for the first die, and then a +1 for the 2 extra 6s. And then you have skills and everything that will add on to that, so you'll reach a target number. And then if you're only rolling 3 dice and you roll all 1s, it's a fumble. If you don't reach the target number and you roll 1s, a couple of 1s, but other numbers on the other pips, then it's not a fumble. So it was a really easy mechanic. It wasn't very hard. Typical thresholds were 1 through 10, with 12 being pray for divine intervention. It actually says that in here. And then you had skill levels. Your skills went from 0, which means you were untrained, or no skill, period. And then you went up to 5 or better, which was legendary. Most players started around either 1 or 2. You might have a couple skills at 3. And then you upgraded them as there. And that was really about it. The mechanics really go from there, and a variation of there. This game is still being produced. I believe you can buy it as a PDF. Like I said, it is still supported on their website. There's a RATA up there. They actually released a player's handbook. I have the hardback version, and I don't know if this is hard to get a hold of or not. If you guys know, let me know. I'm happy to have it in my collection. Like I said, I bought it at a used bookstore in Arizona called Bookman's. They're quite popular in that area, and they had a really great RPG section. And it's in pristine condition. I mean, it's fantastic. And this is the world is either way in the future, after what you have to assume is an apocalyptic event, and the Zabri, some sort of alien race that infest your minds, but also have physical form, have invaded Earth and have taken over and enslaved everybody. And we're broken up. The technology and everything has gone super archaic. We've reverted back to almost caveman days, and we're broken up into factions. And the factions are governed each by an aspect or a Fatima, and they give you all the 7 different Fatimas. There is an 8th Fatima, which is basically the nameless or the faceless, and they're pretty much what the players start with. You can belong to one of the other factions, but it's kind of insinuated that you'll be part of the 8th tribe, or the faithless or faceless. Either term is appropriate. And basically the Zabri are these alien beings that live like a hive mind, and they can warp flesh, and they use the humans as slaves. This is very much not, I don't want to say a dark game, but it's very gloomy. It's not dark, but it is gloomy. There's little to no hope, and it's all about the player characters bringing up, I can't think of the word, bringing the apocalypse, not the apocalypse, bringing the foretold future to fruition. The what do you call it? Not the fates, the prophecy. There we go, prophecy. That's the word I'm looking for. They're the 8th tribe, or the supposedly the faceless, or the faithless, depending on how you want to look at it. The 8th tribe are supposed to bring to ascension the prophecy and overthrow the Zabri and everything, and unite the tribes. And so you play one of those characters trying to bring that change about. So it's very cool. It's very gritty. It's low tech. There are some guns, but they're few and far between. But there's a lot of baseball bats with nails in them and that kind of stuff. Saw blades turned into shuriken, that kind of thing. It's very low tech. Armor could be a stop sign, that kind of thing. So very much got a feel of Dark Age, the miniatures game in here. That's what I get. The art is black and white. There's, as far as I remember, there are no color plates in here. Yeah, it's all black and white. I don't remember if the original softback version had color plates. I don't believe it did, but if it did, correct me, let me know. I think I still have the softback. I'm not sure. It's buried in a box somewhere. Again, I did the same thing I did yesterday. I opened up the top box in the closet there, and I eeny, meeny, money, mo, and this is what came up. So the art is very much a pencil, almost like watercolor / pencil thing, and it's very cool. It's very heavy geared, same type of art. So if you can see that there, that's it is consistent throughout the book. There's a lot of iconography in the book as well. I'm trying to find out a couple good pictures. Yeah, there's some good iconography, and that pervades the book quite a bit. It's in there a lot. It's a lot of that black and white, like sketch type, blotchy art, if you want to call it that. But it sits the theme really well. Here's another piece right there. So you can see it's kind of almost like a Harley Quinn type character with a glaive or some sort of just nasty looking weapon. The book, the first half of the book is the world. This is one of those games that if you're going to run it, I highly, highly suggest you read the first half of the book. Because this is not your typical, apocalyptic type. It's not like Rifts. It's not like God, what other games can I think of? Deadlands. It's its own unique world with its own iconography and its own slang. So you need to be versed in the images and the oral traditions, because writing is pretty non-existent. Everything is passed down orally from tribe member to tribe member in this background. There is some writing, of course, and the Zabri are in charge. They rule the world. It's just they have allowed humanity to spread like a plague, basically, and then every so often they just come through and cull, and by culling, they murder everything in their path, and they take a couple slaves. So there are, I think you can play, if I remember correctly, you can play an escaped slave. And the whole thing is you're just eking out an existence, and you're playing the part of these players that are trying to bring forth the prophecy. And so as the GM, you want to set stories around that prophecy. So you need to know the setting. This is not definitely one where, I understand those mechanics, let's just run a game real quick. No, if you want to run it and get the full flavor of this game, you need to read the history, and the book is not very thick. You can see it's very well laid out. There's a very comprehensive index and a table of contents. Let's see, it's got 12 chapters, and chapter 9 starts the game mechanics, the silhouette system, and chapter 8 is character creation and traits. So, chapter 7 is the basics. That's the base. What is a role-playing game? What makes a game? What do you need to play? The game system, dice roll, and action tests, rating skills, and skill tests. And then on page 113, they give you an example of play. So, page 110 out of 205 pages. The last 3 pages are indexed. So that's a lot of rules. The system setting and the introduction goes from page 4 to page 7, with those being the past, present, the gifts, and our future. And then the history starts on page 8 and goes all the way to page 109. So 101 pages of background. That's a lot. And it's a relatively small font. It's decent size. You can see there. I'll hold it up to the camera and get a good idea of it. You can see it's pretty decent size font. I mean, my old eyes can read it, and it doesn't put a strain on them. So definitely one that I say, if you want to run a good, dark, gloomy game where the players are pretty oppressed and struggling to survive, but you don't want to go like dark and creepy like Cthulhu, Call of Cthulhu or Age of Cthulhu, and you don't want to go, crazy gonzo like riffs, but you want something kind of in between. This is probably your game. It's like I said, it's a very fleshed out. You got 101 pages of material for background and the world, and they break it up by tribe and what each tribe thinks. It's very well done. So you got to like all the different tribes, and they give you their Fatima, which is like their goddess, and what they think and how they think, and they go from there. So it's very well laid out. It's very well written. DreamPod 9 is a Canadian company, so everything's, I think, printed in Canada, if I remember correctly. At least it used to be. I don't know. Maybe they send theirs out to China. I would hope not, because Canada has lots of trees and lots of paper mills. So I would hope it's produced in Canada, and I would think it is. It has a very cool character sheet, but like I said, on the website there's some adventures. There is a starting adventure in the back of the book. There's a very well laid out index. It is very small, as you can see, but they've got a lot of information in there. There's 3 pages of index, and then the character sheet is very simple, 1-page character sheet. So it's a very well laid out book. My hardback, like I said, it's many years old. This is probably 20 years old, and it's in great shape. So at least 10 years old. I don't even know. I didn't look to see when Tribe 8 was first published, and there's no date in here, unfortunately. The product number is DP9-801, and it's a cool setting, like I said. If you're a fan of the miniature game Dark Age and you like the Forsaken, is pretty much these guys right here, which is kind of cool because it fleshes in really well. So you can definitely buy some of those Dark Age miniatures if you like using miniatures on the game table, and it would fit in just fine with this. Guys with trash can lids and baseball bats and hockey sticks fit right in with this. So let's see, with a little blurb from the back here, it says Tri-Bait is a role-playing game set in the tribal future where player characters are blessed with mystical insight and marked by destiny. They must struggle to build a new society from the ashes of the old, fighting against alien horrors and the Fatimas, avatars of the goddess herself. The Tri-Bait rulebook contains everything you need to start a campaign, including world background, full character creation, and interaction rules, and a new and dynamic system for synthesis, the magic of Tri-Bait. So yeah, synthesis is their form of magic, and it's basically, for lack of a better word, psychic powers. But it's really well done. Character creation is not terribly difficult. I don't think anybody would have a hard time. If you could make a D&D character, you can make a Tri-Bait character. But again, they do make a player's handbook. I don't know if you can buy it as a PDF. I would have to assume in this day and age you can. It might even be on DriveThruRPG or RPGnow.com. I did not check those resources, but if memory serves me right, I did see the Tri-Bait core book on DriveThruRPG, but don't quote me. But again, you can see everything over there on DreamPod 9. You can read up on it a little bit if it's one of those games that interest you and you kind of want that dark, gritty, low-tech, adventure game. This might be a good game for you. So go over there to dreampod9.com and look at Tri-Bait and see if it's something, because they've got quite a bit of info up there, and it'll kind of give you a little bit of a feel for the game, and you might find that you really enjoy it. So just a little quick short video today. I just wanted to pop that out. I'm going to go grill some pork chops. So anyway, that's Tri-Bait by DreamPod 9. I'll put a link to the website in the notes, and go check it out, man. That's a buy from Mr. Mean. It's in my collection for a reason, because it's a good read. Even if you never run it and you just want to read it and you're going to run like Ubiquity's Hollow Earth or something like that, this might have some good information in there that you could rob. Or you're going to run a D&D campaign where you're going to do something. This might give you some great ideas. So anyway, that's Mr. Mean's thoughts on Tri-Bait. As always, peace, love, and hair grease. And remember, be nice.